Hello, everyone. This is MJ, and you are at my channel called Reading This Life. And today we have a really cool special event coming up. Is the Read What You Own challenge. And this is going to be a video to help people build a strategy, get some tips, get some tricks, and really just inform everyone about what the event is all about. So with me, I have a bunch of my favorite people, a bunch of my special guests. We've got Ollie, Greg, and Crystal. And their channels are going to be linked down below. So, Ollie, let's start off with maybe just giving a little bit of history about the event and how it all came about. Some of us know, but some of us may not know.
Sure. So, I started my channel to win a competition, to win a bet with my son. And so he said to me, I bet you can't get to 100 subscribers on YouTube before I do. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. As a dad, I was like, I'll give it a try and see what happens. So I started the channel, and fairly quickly, I can't remember how long it took, but I got to 100 subscribers. You know, well, he's still not at 100 subscribers, so I got to 100 subscribers before him. And then by that point, I was really, really enjoying it, and I was like addicted to making videos and being part of the community, and was getting a great deal out of it. So I didn't want to then stop. You know, when we started it, I figured I'd do it for a bit and then stop, but I definitely didn't want to do that. But I felt a bit guilty about having not been upfront about that with all of the people who'd ended up subscribing to me. So I set myself as like a punishment. I said I will read. I made a confession video and said I will read 100 books I already own before I buy any new ones, as a penance for deceiving everybody. And to my huge surprise, a number of other people like watched that video and decided they were going to do it as well, including Greg. So it became a bit of a thing that first year, which was 2 years ago. I wasn't intending to do it again, and then I think both Greg and I started getting kind of a bit itchy towards this sort of time last year, and missed the challenge of doing it. So we did it again last year, and we're doing it again this year. So last year we kind of redesigned it a bit and made it the Read What You Own challenge rather than the 100 book challenge, which is what it had been originally, to make it a bit more inclusive and a bit, you know, easier for people to participate in. But yeah, that really is the history of it.
Awesome. All right, Greg, Crystal, you want to introduce yourselves, detail your experience with the Read What You Own challenge, anything like that?
Well, I'll go. I mean, what happened is, I had been watching Ollie's video, and then I think it was Juan by Plagued at Visions and Michael K. Vaughan came on, and they said they're going to do this 100 book challenge. And I was always sitting down with dinner with my wife one day. I said, there's these crazy guys on YouTube doing this 100 book challenge. They're not going to buy a book until they read 100 books. And she looked at me and says, you have a lot of books. You should do that one. And I was in like, oh. Then I did this video, and apparently people commented, that look on your face when my wife told me I had to do this challenge. But the thing is, once I got into it, I really got into it. And it's kind of interesting to go through all the books that you have bought over the many years and start picking them out and reading them. Now, what I did is when I started, I deliberately went for short books, because I said War and Peace counts as one book, and The Stranger counts as one book, and you know there's only like 1,200 pages between them, but you know, so that's what I did, and it's been remarkably freeing, and I hope this continues for many years.
Agreed. Crystal, how about you?
He's like, I remember seeing that first year, and I was like, "Y'all crazy! I'm not doing that." So I just watched it unfold that year, and they kept dropping like flies. You know, I remember people like tapping out. You know, but then the next one came around, and I was like, "Yeah, all right, you know, all right, I'm in." So I tried it last year. I think I made like 70 something books last year before I caved and bought some
That's
books.
awesome.
But for me, it was fun to, just like Greg said, just to kind of look at what you got, you know. You buy these books for a reason, so let's read them. So yeah, So yeah, I'm definitely in. I'm making it 100 this time.
For sure. And it seems like there's a lot of people in our community that are like, hey, you know what? I'm going to try. People that were very hesitant in the past are now leaning into it, which is awesome to see. Like, it's so great. I see so many new videos with different people signing up for the challenge, even if it's 10 books. Like, it's just kind of phenomenal. So let's talk about, have you guys formulated your strategies? How are you going to attack?
So I've done two things really. So firstly, I've planned the next few months in terms of things that I know I want to participate in. So events I want to know, I know I'm going to take part in, and like buddy reads I know I'm going to be doing and things like that. I've got prepared, which I guess is in some ways is kind of counter to the spirit of the challenge, but I've pre-bought books that I know I would have had to end up buying anyway, or would have been tempted to buy. So I've got that sorted out. And I've also made sure that I've got a ton of books on hand ready that are short. So I've got, like, next to me here, I've got a stack of like Edge and Executioner books. There's like 20 books here, and they're all probably no more than 200 pages each. So I've got a plentiful supply of things that I know I can get through quickly. And it's not, I'm not only going to read those, I'm going to read a variety of things, but it's good to know that you've got some things that you can fly through that will just help you increase your numbers so you don't get stuck. There's nothing worse than getting stuck at, like, stuck in the 20s or something like that, and it feels like it's taking ages. So it's a good tactic, I think, to have some short stuff around that you can just get through quickly.
Yeah. How about you guys, Greg, Crystal?
Well, I have, like Ollie said, I know there was an event I was going to be participating in. I'm doing the All About Holly, Stephen King, read all the books, and I didn't own any of them. So I said, okay, got to go out and buy them all. Normally, I probably would have closer to the time period that I needed to buy them, but I bought all but the last one, and by the time I get to that one, I will be done with the challenge, so I'm not worried about that. But also, like you said, I've got a lot of short books, especially on my Kindle, where they're novellas, or even shorter than novelettes. But my idea is I'm going to read a regular novel, 200, 300, then read one of these novelettes. So you just pick up speed, because there's a lot of very short books on Kindle that you can count.
Yeah.
And, there are some longer ones that are going to be coming in. I will probably still be on the challenge in March. I'm going to do March of the Mammoths, which is an 800-page book. And I have that mostly picked out, one or two. Now, the one thing that's going to kill me, and is an exception, is I volunteered to be a judge for the BookTube prize. And I don't even know if it's nominated yet. So I cannot pre-buy that.
Right.
And so my exception is, look, I can buy it for the BookTube prize if I can't get it from the library or use an Audible credit. And, I just won't count it in that case. But I don't think there's any buddy reads coming up that will do that, except for my in-person book group. But my wife's part of that book group, so I can just tell her, you go buy the book this week. I know, but it's a book you can't pre-buy, because you don't know what your book group's going to be reading necessarily.
Right. Okay. How about you, Crystal?
Well, I honestly haven't really sat down and planned anything out yet. So
that's all right.
My October has just been wacky, dude. So
I know.
I'm winging it at this point.
Yeah.
I've planned out November, and that's as far as I've gotten. So I'm just going to look at my books and really look at my books at my shelf. And what I'm also going to spend some time doing is, like I said, really looking at the books on my shelf. Probably do some, like, those try a chapter things,
Yeah.
And so try to weed out some of these books, because honestly, let's be honest, I'm probably not going to get to it. You know what I mean? Tastes change over years. A book I bought 5 years ago, it's still sitting there. Am I really going to read it? So I'm just going to spend some time really thinking about my shelves and what I want to have on my shelves.
Yeah.
And then work through it that way too,
Yeah.
And I love events, so I'm just I like events and stuff. It's probably going to take me forever to get through 100. So
You can do
I'm
it.
committed to the length of it.
Short
Yeah.
That's the key.
And the great thing is that there's so many people participating. Like we all have like a little booster team. We all have, people are just going to be crushing the challenge left and right, and there's safety in numbers. And I think we could feed off some of that energy too, So
It's so true. I mean, I must have welcomed a dozen people to the challenge.
Yeah.
And some of them are 100, some of them are less, but
Yeah. I don't care if people are participating with 5. I think that's awesome.
It is. And like I said, you have to participate at the level, speed, and the amount you can be. Like Ollie, you're fast reader. I'm retired, so even though I'm slow, I can get through it. And I always said about 20 weeks, I think, is a good time period. It's hard because it's 20 weeks, but it's not impossible to get through.
Right.
Like Michael K. Vaughan, his 500 book challenges. I mean, he's going to be on that for years.
He's in the chat.
He is.
Yeah, let's catch up with some chat. Well, let me tell you what my plan of attack is. So we have this, for everybody that doesn't know, we're doing a little charity thing. So this is a printable that's available. I think I put a link in the description box, but it's a printable that you can download, you can laminate, you can scratch off. It has 100 books on here, and you can do your start date, your end date, and what your total number of books read was. So I'm going to do 10 at a time, because if I look at this thing, I'm going to go down a downward spiral. So I'm going to cover it up. I'm going to go 10 at a time and see where I'm at. And November for me, besides the commitments and the buddy reads that I have already set up, it's short books. I want that positive reinforcement that I can do this. So my goal is to get between 15 and 20 done for the month of November. And if I can do that, then I know that I can complete it. My target date is April 1st to be done with the challenge. So we'll see if I can achieve it. All right, let's see who's in the chat. All right, we're going back in time. A lot of people are saying hello to everyone. Gareth could not be here. He's in London, but he's here in spirit. Lewis Carty is here. Hello, Lewis.
Hello.
Williams Library is here. Jim from Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff. Michael Romeo is on with his pups. Jim said the BookTube A team. Well, that's very sweet. Thank you. Dancing by My Shelf is here saying, hey, everybody. Alan is here. Elizabeth is here, and Novella's here. Code is here. Let's see what books we can discuss about. Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of books. Sandy is here from Ms. Reads a Lot. Nadeem is here saying hello. Kelly Hooked on Books is here. Alan, Greg, did you already go on your morning walk?
Yes.
Lewis is saying hello. Read by Fred is here. Wanda Wonders. Let's see. It's a full house. Yes, it is. It's a good Saturday morning or afternoon, wherever you are. Mystery Mayhem is here. Let's see. Greg. Read by Fred says, the wifey is always right.
They usually are.
Tell my husband that. Erie says, happy Hunter's Moon tonight. Yeah, it's a Hunter's Moon. I think it's an eclipse. There's all kind of crazy astrological stuff going on. In Sophie's book says, hello. Coda says, what does the rest of Greg's shirt say?
Well, it says, that's what I do. I read books and I know things.
Very nice. Lewis says, if it weren't for criminology, I would have gone out to get to read Sean Hudson, Richard Lehman, and looking into Stephen King more after seeing some of his films and TV adaptation of Under the Dome. Very cool.
Cool.
Mystery Mayhem says, Code, I think that's it. That's what I do. I read and I know things. Sandy says, I've seen a lot of pre-challenge book hauls. Alan says, yeah. I'll do the 10 to 25 snowflake challenge. Kelly ×3 says, good morning, creators. Fall clutter purging at my house. So I started the challenge when Ollie announced it. No number in mind, but I won't be buying any until at least the new year. Coda says, I have a similar one, but it says, I also pet cats.
I approve of that.
Zach says, well, I've read 46 of the 102 books I bought this year. My inner magpie is dangerous. Jim says I'm not sure what time it is. It's probably late. I have a shelf of physical TBR and a folder of Kindle TBR too. He said it's 5 p.m. over there. Dancing by my shelf. It's 50 books for me. ARCs, reading for work, doesn't count. I read 5 books and get rid of 1. Mystery Mayhem. There's Michael Cavani says 500.
Beast mode.
Oh, let's see. Sandy says, I think the BookTube prize is a valid exception. I think so too. Read by Fred said, the challenge for me this year will be 40 books. This will likely take me into late 2024. I'm a slow reader, but that's okay. Think of all the money we're saving.
I'll just spend it on something else.
I know.
You know,
I'm trying not to tell myself that. I know. Let's see. Everybody's
My other
cheering.
obsessions.
I know. Michael K. Vaughn, he can do it. Jess is here from Bad as Rad. She says, I have a question. May I have all the Kindle Unlimited reads? I think you're allowed 25.
25.
25. You have to have 25 downloaded. Yeah.
And that's what I did. I'm on my Kindle Unlimited. I'm going to pick 25 before the challenge starts, and then just not pick any more until I'm done.
Right. That's what I'm doing as well. Go ahead, Ollie.
I cancelled my Kindle Unlimited. So, and then was kicking myself this morning because there was something I want to read at the beginning of November, which I could have got on Kindle Unlimited and ended up having to buy instead. But yeah, I think it was just too much information. So I've cancelled that, and I had a subscription to, I can't remember what it's called, but like a manga reading app as well, which I've cancelled as well. I'm saving a bit of money already.
Yeah, that's good. How about for Kindle, I'm building a collection just for Read What You Own, and I'm dropping all of the books and things that I want to read, and I'm keeping it in that folder so I can have like a visual assessment of where I'm at. How about everyone else on their Kindle? Have you touched with that, Ollie or Crystal?
I hadn't even thought of that, but it's a very good idea, and I will be doing it.
I hadn't either.
I have a collection, Read What You Own challenge, and I've got 103 books in there, so it's like,
yeah,
I'm not going to get through them all.
Greg, are you counting your audiobooks?
This year I am not.
Okay.
And I think listening to an audiobook is fair, especially if you own it, but because the last 2 years I've been the first person over the 100 line. And I said, well, let's make it a little more difficult for me this year. So I decide I'm still listening to my audiobooks. I'm just not counting them. And it's just a way for me to pick up my speed on reading the physical books and the Kindle books instead of relying on the audiobook to boost my number.
Yeah.
So, Ollie, you're probably going to beat me this year.
That's my intention.
What I'm doing is I'm pairing. So if I have the physical book, because I have downtime at work a lot. So if I have downtime, then I can play the audiobook only if I already own the physical book. That's the only rule. Yeah.
Me too. I listen to audiobooks at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do audiobooks at work because I just sit at a computer all day. So, if it's a book I already own and I listen to the audio, I'll count it. But if it's something I'm just listening to,
definitely.
It won't count for me personally too. Yeah.
Let's see what else is going on in the chat. We got a ton of comments to catch up on. Lewis says, I'm going to try and finish Slugs by Hudson. I got it for my birthday this year and still haven't finished it. Mystery Mayhem, my goal for the challenge will be 50. If I do well, maybe I'll revise it to 100. That's a good way to say it.
Good. It's a good plan.
Yeah. People are saying hello to each other. Sophie says, we will always support this channel. Let's see. Sorry, Mr. Everyone's saying hello. Jess Book Girl is here. Bookish Knitter, so excited about this challenge. I really need to focus on my digital books as my Kindle is out of control. Yeah. No membership boxes, no buying books. I can face all the Kindle Unlimited, but I can face all the Kindle Unlimited reads. That's the only thing I want to do. It's only 25 though. You have to have 25 downloaded. That's the only thing. That's the hard thing because there's so many good ones out there. Michael K. Vaughn, my challenge will take years of glory. We need to get like a Sparta, like a 300, but make it 500, like a Sparta themed video.
Well, if Michael makes that 500 without buying anything, that will be an amazing achievement.
Yeah, for sure.
It will be. It'll be epic.
For sure. Alan says, I don't even own 500 books. MKV, you rock. April 1st, a nice date. Everybody's saying good morning. Good morning. Nice to see first live stream on the channel. Let's see. Hello, book fans. Hello, hello. Sydney says, I'm actually going to try the challenge. I am nervous because I can hyperfixate on what I don't have, but I want to try. I have so many books in my house I want to read. How are you guys going to deal with new releases, book buzz, booktubers, bookstagrammers putting out what's coming out? How are you guys going to be coping with that? Are you going to make a list of what you want to buy once the challenge is over? Well, how are you going to deal with temptation? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so the first year, and I think to a lesser extent the second year, but certainly the first year I made a list as I went. So every time I saw a book, on YouTube or Instagram or wherever that appealed to me, I put it on the list. And I think I ended up probably only buying about half of them at the end of the challenge, and the rest by that point, actually the novelty or the interest had worn off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the problem, isn't it, with out of control book buying? You just buy things as soon as you see them, and that's why they end up on the shelves not getting read, because actually you don't have time to read them straight away, and by the time you get to them, you're not that bothered anymore.
Right.
So yeah, that's the main thing, which I think I'll do again this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll unsubscribe to all of the Kindle deal emails and try and get out of the habit of checking the Kindle daily deals every morning.
It's such a part of my morning routine.
Yeah.
It's such a habit now. I've actually I look forward to it every morning, and now I have to undo that habit and do something else instead. How about you, Greg and Crystal? How are you guys?
The thing is, I don't read a lot of new releases anyway.
Okay.
It's just not really a lot. I mean, the BookTube prize, well, they're not really new, but that's my one exception. But what I do is I see books is I always put them on a wish list on Amazon for Kindle and just wait for the prices to drop. So I'm used to waiting for books anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of I've got accustomed to it and say, well, this book will eventually go on sale. And the only book I'm worried about is the one book that I want is the new translation of the Brothers Karamazov. It's $26 on Kindle right now. So no, I'm not paying that much money for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's going to go on sale.
Yeah.
Eventually, it will go on sale.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was going to ask, are you guys counting rereads?
I am.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I own it. Why not? I mean, it's just read what you own. So.
Mm-hmm. So do you have a copy of the Brothers Karamazov already?
I have a different translation.
So is replacing that copy with another copy, since you already have?
Well, yeah, you
logically
can say that.
Loophole.
But I also one of
I've always got to work around.
Is that I'm allowed to use Amazon credits. If when I buy stuff on Amazon, you can sometimes get credits for saying, "Don't ship it tomorrow." Wait till next week. They'll give you $1, $2, and that's going to build up. And I think it can build up over time. That if it goes on sale during this period, I'll be able to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I thought of saying, should that be the one exception? And no, I'm not putting that exception. I'm just gonna run with it. Now, I know the first year I did this, they had a box set of the Kurt Vonnegut Library of America. They went on a super sale. And I almost quit the challenge over that book. But then, I said, no, I'm sticking it out. And then a few months later, after it was not quite as good as the first sale, but it was like a 50% off and then like a 40%. I said, okay, that's fine.
Cool.
And the only other thing is I did pre-order a book before this challenge came out. So I guess a pre-order sort of counts as own it first.
Yeah. If they have your money already, sure.
I'm not sure Amazon's taken the money yet, but it's slotted as saying I pre-ordered it. So
yeah, the transaction has been made. That's what I say.
That's a good way to look at it. Be committed.
That's right. Crystal, how about you regarding book buzz, book hype, all that stuff?
I'm kind of like Greg. I'm really bad about actually getting to new releases. I feel the desire to want to read the stuff sometimes, but I'm just terrible at actually getting to them. I may get to a handful of new releases, a year or so. So I wouldn't say I'm as tempted, other than kind of FOMO. But other than that, I'm usually not so tempted to buy new releases.
Right.
So I just maybe will put it on like my library list. Maybe put it on hold in the library or something. Wait for it to come in.
Yeah,
I waited months for an audiobook to come in from Libby, so I can wait. I don't always I don't feel quite as a pull for new releases as.
I'm gonna be like Ollie and Greg and make a list, but I'm actually doing a journal, so I'm journaling like my whole experience. So I have like, I'm gonna have like a bunch of setup pages and all that stuff just to make it fun for me.
And I think that's actually good. And I think that's a good part of this actual challenge of like, it really makes you think about your buying. So when you look at that list and say you're at the end of the challenge and you look at that list and you say, what do I actually want to read now? It just kind of makes you think about what you're bringing into your house. If you're like me, you got books everywhere. So gotta change that stuff. So
definitely.
I have noticed that my actual Kindle buying is actually down. Doesn't look like it's down, but it used to be whenever I saw any book I wanted at $1.90, I just automatically buy it. And since these challenges, I'm looking at that book and I'm going, okay, $1.99 is really good. But then I check my library. I think, oh, they have it at the library. I'm not going to read it tomorrow, so just don't buy it. And that actually helps a lot because I have 2,400 books on my Kindle anyway, and I'm not going to get to them all. So it helps to just put your mind, think you don't need to buy everything on sale or everything that someone recommends on BookTube.
You're my Kindle crack enabler.
Well, when I see a good deal, I
bought a book today.
Oh, what'd you buy?
Love Story. Remember Love Story?
Eric Siegel?
The movie?
Okay.
Yeah, it's the book. It was $1.99. That's one of my favorite movies. I'm like, I got to read it for sure. All right, let's catch up with some comments and see what is up. So we've got people want to say hi. See, hello, book fans. Hello, Sydney. We did that one. Winterland, hello, everyone. Monet says, I read a lot of romance books. Full Moon, hello. Gina Word Nerd, I totally need to do this. 7:15 and it's snowing here. Perfect time to read my tar pile. Oh my gosh. Kindle Unlimited doesn't exist here. What? There's no Kindle Unlimited over there? Anne, that's crazy. Gina Word Nerd, TBR pile. Geez. We knew what you were talking about. Michael Romeo, I have a collection on my Kindle Fire. 3:15 in the afternoon where Anne is. Lewis says, I'm about near the end of the Book of Slugs, but I'm going to read it in one afternoon. Let's hope so. Jim says,
you can do it.
Yeah, totally you can do it, Lewis. Jim says, I have a folder, Kindle TBR on my Kindle. There are 28 books in the folder. I was going to do 100 novella, but then I thought it was not fair. You do you. You make your own rules.
It's totally fair.
Yeah, this is not a competition. Wanda Wonders, I'm selecting 5 books at a time and planning on counting to April 1st, hoping to get 50 books. You definitely can get books. Kelly times 3, nonfiction November might suck a little this year. No in-the-moment nonfiction, but I am dragging the old dusties off the shelf to read or purge. Some of them are a bit irreverent now anyways. And it says, I just picked out the first 5 books off my shelves for the challenge.
Cool.
Monet says, I'm reading Hopeless by Elsie Silver in paperback. Michael says, my goal is to finish the challenge by my birthday in July. I know you can do it, Michael. Lewis says, I'm going to start a layman novel once I finish Slugs. I have a few, but I don't know which one to start with. Alan says, I'm waiting Ken Follett's new one. Michael says, I'll keep a list of what I want to buy. Erie says, I've never really realized I was an abnormal read-as-you-buy reader until this challenge. Yeah, most of us are just hoarders. Coda says, I'm going all physical, but I'll allow myself audio and pairing the same fashion as MJ's doing. Yeah, you got it, buddy. Jess says, a new Chandler Morrison book is coming out while the ban, so I'm bummed, but we can receive gifts. So, yeah, you can receive gifts.
Our pre-order.
Yeah, pre-order. Are library books allowed? Only if it's in your rules. I can do library books if I want to do like a Libby audio to match with the physical that I have, but I can't. Last year I gave myself the allowance to go get library books, and I was turning to it more than I wanted to. So no new releases on audiobooks, nothing that I want to read on audiobooks or on library books. I have to own it in order to get it from the library. So, but you do your own rules. Are you guys doing library books at all?
I'm not this year. So previous years, I've said I can get books out of the library for like book clubs and things like that.
Right.
But I'm not involved in so many book clubs now. And the ones I am involved in, I've managed to kind of plan things out so I don't have to do that. But what I've done in the past, when I have read a library book, I've not counted it against the 100.
Yeah.
So that's been my rule in the past.
That's my
same.
rule also is that you just don't count them.
Yeah.
And the sort of rule is you just don't go out to the library and pick a book. It's like it's for the BookTube prize or a book group that you're reading, and then that's part of my acceptance. It's like I have to have the BookTube prize exception because then I can't participate otherwise.
Yeah. Crystal, you're the same?
Yep, same.
Yeah.
If I read it, it won't count. So
Right.
if it's something for like a buddy read or book club or whatever, yeah.
Right.
I just won't count it if I read it.
Yeah. Let's see. Alice says, as a Buddhist, it's all just material anyway. Alice is here. Hi, Alice. I don't think I can participate because if I say I will definitely do it, I will automatically buy a book for no reason. So I need to be gentle with myself and just keep trying to do ourselves. Yeah, that's good advice.
Well, have any of you thought about like any sort of like punishment? Like, let's say you make it to like 23 books and you're like, oh, I really want to get this book. So if I buy this book, maybe like add a book to your number.
Penance?
I was, so like if I read, okay, I'm going for 100 books, but oh gosh, I slipped up and I bought a book. So maybe I'll make it 100 books now. So I have to like tack on an extra. I don't know.
You can buy indulgences. Maybe you have to send a book to a person on the calendar as a gift.
Oh yeah.
As a
You can set up your own kind of like punishment, I guess.
Yeah.
It might help people get through it if they, because once you get, kind of like 25 and 50, you're kind of like, ooh, you get a little antsy,
I was telling the gentleman before, I actually have a box that I got from eBay with 4 books in it, and I'm wondering if I'm gonna hold on to it until I need that endorphin rush. Do an unboxing,
opening something, yeah.
I may just hold on to it. And I also thought I didn't tell you guys this, but I thought about doing like an advent calendar for myself. So wrapping 12 books and then, during Christmas time, unwrapping it just as like a little something extra. Just an idea. We still have a week and a day left of buying books. So let's see. Okay, so we got Alice. Heather reads. Do we do Heather reads? Oh, wait, here. I'm like Greg. I have 5 Amazon lists, and I review them periodically looking for bargains. Alicia says, hello, everyone. I'm also trying not to buy any books, but I'm using my library and Libby still. Coda says I have well over 500 unread books, but it'll take me a year to read even 100. So I'm going to pull a lot of shorties. I'll put stuff on my wish list to track future buys. Yeah, that's a good idea. Michael says, I'm counting rereads if the book was read before the start of the challenge. Yeah, that's a good idea. Alan says, I'm a big rereader, but I'm just counting new books. Anne says, how long will it take for you guys to read 100 books? I'm counting on 4 months. Me personally, I'm going to give myself until April 1st and see where I'm at. Hopefully before then.
Last year,
do you have a target date?
Last year, 20 weeks.
I'm not sure how long it's taken me in the past. I think this year, it was kind of Easter time that I finished, which I think was March this year. I want to try and finish it in January, but whether I'll do that or not, I don't know.
So you're going full throttle.
I'm going full throttle. So I've not got some of the exceptions I had last year that meant I ended up reading books that didn't count. So I think that will make me faster. And I'm going to try and focus more on shorter books as well.
Okay.
Because I've got
You counting your manga too, Ollie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, me too.
Chris, are you giving yourself a target date?
No.
No,
No. I'm just
nothing wrong with that.
as long as it takes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I keep getting
I can't have
interrupted.
I can't have too many rules
it's
because
not nice to see kitties.
yeah.
Jim's book's reading this stuff. So you not all reading the same. I read it already. The Brittany memoir, 5 stars. Fantastic. Go get it. It's good.
I'm going to listen to it.
soon.
Yeah,
It's
I'm going to
good.
listen to it on
Mhm.
audio, but
Yeah, me
before
too.
the start of the challenge.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Heather says, I like MJ's suggestion of making a list. Will she reward herself for meeting milestones part all the way along? Not with books. Not with books. Maybe I'll buy myself a bag or something, but no books. Give myself a pat on the back. Coda says, Alan, I've maybe reread 5 books my whole life, but there are some I'd like to revisit. I'm counting rereads of books I read back in the day before purchasing for my collection. Let's see. And novella. It may take 3 months to read 100 books, but I read carefully and properly, and then it must take a year. Michael says, I have love story in my collecting. Maybe it could be a buddy read. Sure, we can do a buddy read. Read by Fred says 2,400 books on your Kindle. Wow. I did a count yesterday and I only have 146. When I did this challenge last year, I had like 1 Kindle book. I never bought because I always use the Libby app. I did like library reads and all that. Now I've got quite a bit. I didn't count them, but I've got quite a bit.
I've been on Kindle since 2008.
Yeah, you're an OG. Kindle OG.
I had the original Kindle, yes.
Yep, your original gangster. Coda says, MJ and I are neck and neck for buying last minute books for the challenge. Yes, we are. We enable each other very well, Coda. Jim says, no Kindle Unlimited in Georgia, the country either. Wow. Let's see. Diane says, pouring rain here in my area of Texas. Question. Have any of y'all read books by Anne Rice? Hi, Ollie. Yes, I have read Anne Rice, and I'm sad that she's gone, but she does have a knack for writing for sure. How about you guys?
I read
a lot in my 20s. In my teens and 20s, I read a lot of vampire books.
Yeah.
And then I quit. There's one scene in the 3rd book that I just said, nah, I'm done.
Ollie, have you read Anne Rice?
I read Interview with a Vampire like years and years and years ago. I think I might have been in my teens or early 20s, so that was a long time ago. So yeah, that's the only one I've read, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. I didn't like it as much as a lot of other people seemed to back then. So I haven't gone back to her.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of her in high school and college, and then when she did the whole, I'm turning to, I'm basically disowning my vampire trilogy, and she started writing in a different way. I was like, ooh, I don't know about this right now. She kind of had a whole like rebirth, if you want to say.
Didn't she undo the rebirth in the end?
She did, but I wonder why it started in the beginning. Yeah, that just I just didn't like it. Let's see. Jeff Jones doing Karen Chance Dorian Basrab books again. Cool. Libby app rules. Yes, it does. Free books rule. Lewis says, I'm thinking of starting with either Alarms or Endless Light by Layman to start reading my first Layman book. Yeah.
I would probably go with Alarms out of those two, Lewis.
There you go.
I remember.
I've read a lot. I used to read a lot of Layman. I think my favorite still is The Cellar.
Yeah, that is good.
So good.
That's crazy.
It's so good. I'm also reading nonfiction, comic book CPR. Kaylin reads, I love to succeed at this, but I've tried so many times in different ways and fall every time. Oh, well, you can do it this time. You can do it. There's a lot of us doing it. Totally.
I think the tip of starting with a challenge, starting with a goal level that you know is achievable.
Yes.
And then seeing how you feel after that and adding to it is a really good way of doing it.
Yes.
And maybe picking a number isn't what you need. Maybe picking a time frame. So I'm going to do it for a month.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it for a month. Not even set like a number, because sometimes a number can kind of like just trick your brain and you just
100%.
fail before you start too. So, maybe
100%.
a time frame instead of a number would work better for you as well.
That's a great tip. What were you saying, Greg?
I'm saying that's a really good idea. I mean, because people's reading speeds and reading time is just so variable.
Yeah.
And like you said, 100 works for me, works for Ollie and some other people, but it's not going to work for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want this to turn into a punishment.
No.
You want it. You want it to be like you're running a marathon.
Correct.
And you don't have to run the 26-mile marathon.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the 5-mile or the 3-mile or 10. You have to know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, it's like when I actually did I did like a 5K marathon like 8 years ago. For me, you know, I was early 50s. That was the right marathon for me. Because I said, oh, I just missed that halfway mark, you know, 50%. And if I'd done it more, I could have gotten over that. But for the same way for the books is you have to pick the level. It's a bit of a stretch saying you're struggling, but you can do it.
Yeah.
That's the important thing is you want to be able to succeed and say, wow, I did that.
Let's see. Zach says, I heard the saying, if you read the books you buy, you're a bookworm. If you don't, you are a book dragon just hoarding. Dragon. The background art or color on the feed matches colors in MJ's background. Well played. Well, thank you. It's all about branding. Jeff Jones, I have a few unread books. Maybe I will try one of two. Sure. Let's see. Endorphin Rush. MJ, what if you had someone else wrap books for you? Then they would really be a surprise. Yeah, definitely. I'm actually talking about doing something with another booktuber, so we'll see. We'll see. I might approach her about that, but I'm not sure how many books she's reading, but we'll see. Bookish Knitter, for your advent calendar idea, I had my husband pick 12 books and wrap them from my shelves, so I really have no idea what books will be there. That's a good idea too. Pick books from your shelves. Let's see. Good morning. Hi, Gola. Good morning. Happy Saturday. 100 physical books would take me years to read. Audiobooks months. Not sure if I am alone in this.
Cat rotation going.
Alan's ready for football. Let's see. Dancing by my shelf. For me, it would take a year to read 50 books. You pick the number that works for you.
Yeah.
Anne says, I read carefully too. I'm always super focused when I read. Anne Rice is awesome. Alan met Anne Rice when he was in Phoenix. He's read almost everything by her. Erie says, based on Ollie's mention, I read Silent Key. When I got to the flirtation dog rescue part of the story, I realized why he liked it.
That's it. Romances with dogs. That's the
one. I picked that up. That's one I have on my Kobo. I can't forget my Kobo because last week I picked up some books on Kobo and I have to remember that they're on there because I want to read them. Thanks for all of your opinions. You're welcome. All right. Coda says, I love Anne Rice. The Witching Hour was the first book I read this year. If you like historical fiction, she's fantastic at history builds. Ollie, Lestat is 4 times as good as Interview. It's beautiful. Yeah, Lestat is way better. I think it's way better than Interview. That's just me. Okay. Lewis says, I found Beast House yesterday, but I don't want to read it until I read The Cellar first. Yeah, I agree. That's good advice.
You should read The Cellar first.
Yeah. Al says, I started my reading challenge in 2022, September. I said, listen for a couple hours a day on my walks and getting ready, the wife, etc. It's a learned, yes, it is. Gola says, my unread books are J.R.R. Tolkien's History of Middle-earth books. Kelly times 3 said, I had to stick to time frame, Crystal, because I know there are events coming up, BookTube prize, that will be far more important to me than square footage on my bookshelves. Yeah. Achievable goals. Yes. Book Dragon here. Michael K. Vaughn says, my challenge is like running a marathon in hell.
Triathlon in hell.
Triathlon. Yes. I'm a fan of most of Anne Rice. Alan, right? I'm going to start next year with Mayfair adaptation on AMC is okay. I wish I was in charge of adapting books sometimes. Remake of The Strand on Paramount was crud. We are all caught up with comments. Yeah. All right. So how about, do you have any other tips or tricks that you want to share with anyone about how you're going to be tackling the challenge?
I think one thing I'm going to be doing is keeping some books that I know I'm going to enjoy in reserve. So if there's like books by authors I absolutely love that I haven't read before and things like that, keep one tip from me would be keep some of those back, and then if you feel like you're starting to struggle, having a book that you're really confident you're going to love should, hopefully with me will help me get motivated on the challenge again.
Okay, so like an emergency reserve.
Yeah.
Okay, break the glass.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
No, I've sort of pre-selected a lot of my books already.
Yeah,
I have my bin of paperback books and my list of Kindle books, and I said I'm just planning it out. I'm planning it because I got so many Kindle books that are short. I'm going to read regular book, short book, regular book, and try to keep it going that way until I run out of really short ones. And I think I'll last, but and then like you said, there will be a couple of long books in here in this challenge. Like in March, if I'm still, got to do March of the Mammoths, and a couple of the King books I'm going to be reading are like 400, 500 pages, which I guess really, I mean, I don't consider those super long, but
right.
You can't polish those off in a day.
Right. For sure. Crystal, any other tips?
For me, I'm just going in really trying to enjoy what I actually have on my shelf. I know I have some really good books sitting on this shelf that are waiting for me to finally pick them up and read them. So I'm just really, just going to focus on these shelves. And you're talking about shopping your shelves. So they're
I'm excited. Like I said,
pulling in and looking at what I got and enjoying it,
All my paperback books.
How many are in there, Greg?
60, something like that. But
okay,
some of them I've owned for decades and haven't read. And so I said, well, now's the time to pick them out and look forward to reading them. And some of them, some of them are newer, but I'm like, I have a couple. Like, I have one. It's not on there because it's long, but I bought it in '84, and it's still on my shelf.
Wow, that's awesome. Let's see. Kelly says, have you all scanned your shelves to see if you can continue the challenge while still participating in the different reading events on BookTube? Kind of, but I haven't, I'm not really going all in on BookTube events starting November. So, if something creeps up, I'll shop my shelves to see if I have anything, but I haven't like pre-planned anything like that. How about you guys?
I have a bit, but not actually thinking about it for next year. So I haven't even thought about like January and February.
I don't even remember what events that go on in January.
No, I was trying to think, and I couldn't remember either. I did end up buying about 3. I think I bought 3 Kindle books this morning for Crystal's cryptid readathon because I realised I buy some for that.
I've got some Kindle Unlimited saves for that for sure.
And we've got to remember December happening in December, which is perfect for this because it's about rereading. So there should be books you've already got anyway.
Yep.
Right.
I don't know if any January or February events.
I don't remember.
Feels like there should be a romance one in February.
Yeah. You see, I would pass on the romance. I'm okay with that, but
maybe Blackathon too. I think happens in February, and then March is like middle grade March too.
Yeah, I think there's
March and Mammoth. There's other stuff I'm sure too.
Grab off my shelf. So
yeah, I love events, so I'm just working what I got. I'm sure I got something that'll fit something, Even if I'm just reading one book for an event will be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Sure. Zach says page count instead of book number might be what I'm going to do. Maybe 20,000 pages before I could buy things. Yeah, you could do it that way too. Yep. Gina asks, do you all keep a list or record of what you've read? I do on Goodreads, but I'm actually I'm starting a brand new journal just for this event, and I'm going to list the books that I've talked about already that I'm going to read for the challenge and the ones that I did read for the challenge. So yeah, I'm keeping a record for sure. How about you guys?
I have a database of every book I've read that goes back to December 1990. So
that's so hardcore.
Well, I was a computer programmer. It's no problem for
I
me to
know.
create.
I love it. Ollie, what do you got? You got a database too, right?
No, well, not a database. So I use Goodreads and have done for a number of years now. So everything gets logged on Goodreads, and I'm nerdy enough about it that I'm like a Goodreads librarian. So if I read something that isn't on Goodreads, which I do occasionally, I can add it to the Goodreads. I can add it to the Goodreads database. And in fact, one of the books I read last month is on there, but I'm the first person to ever rate or review. And I do also, since doing the channel, I've started keeping a spreadsheet as well, like month by month, because it helps in terms of like if I know there's stuff I need to read next month for events and things like that, I can put it in there. So yeah, I double track everything I read now.
Yeah, same. I do Goodreads, and then I have this that so it's basically lists. So I list out what I want to read every month, and then what I actually read. So it's just a bunch of lists. But I write it down and I do Goodreads. Yeah.
Yeah. I also started keeping lists on my Scribe too, which is very handy as I'm shopping for books or looking for books. I can just flip over and make a note to myself. All right. Let's see. Al says, after embracing Libby and the like, I understand the struggle. Not enough time in the day for the new to you books, new releases, local finds. Yeah, for sure. Nadim says, so far this year, I read 52 books. That's amazing. Lewis says, I found the Beast House at a charity shop in my hometown, but I'm not reading until I complete the Beast House stories and read the seller before the others. That is smart. People are talking to each other. Jim says, February is Black History Month in the U.S. Yes, it is. Bookish reader or Bookish knitter, there is a retro romance readathon in February. And she is co-hosting. Wonderful. Let's see. Coda's talking to Kelly. Gina Word Nerd, I find myself at this point regretting not keeping some sort of journal over the years. Start fresh. Start fresh. Don't worry about the past. Start fresh. Move forward.
Well, you start. And the thing is, my database goes back so long. It's just like, what was I reading in 92? And I can go back and say, I only read 30 books in 90 or something like that. It's like that I've seen my reading increase over the years and my taste change. And it really is sort of like a little history mark of like what you were doing over a lifespan. Like now mine's like 30 years of book tracking. So
that's crazy.
That's cool.
I just look on my shelves and I'll see a title and I'll be like, I read that in high school. I remember reading that outside one summer. I remember being in college with that one. Just like little bits of memory database, you know?
I think it was Andrew from It Came From The Page who did a video a while ago where he did like a monthly wrap-up style video, but it was books he'd read 5 years ago, like books he'd read that month 5 years ago and what he now felt about them. And I thought it was a really interesting take on that style of video.
Yeah,
that is a really interesting
like 1993 reads or something like that.
Yeah,
I do that. Like, what did I read in 95 or 90, whatever?
That's a good idea for a video, Mr. Database, for sure.
It is.
Alan says, February is Black History Month in America. I read James Baldwin, my buddy Reed Pard, Miss Patrice Jones. Yep. I have James Baldwin on my Read What You Own challenge shelf. Got a small paperback notebook for the challenge. Good. Jim says, I've downloaded the next 2 FOMO book club picks. We've always lived in the castle and Tipping the Velvet. Nice. People are talking to each other. Let's see. Lewis says, but the other Layman books I have asked for Christmas and birthday in the next few months, I'm going to read them as well. That's a lot of Layman, but it's awesome. Jim says, I have a notebook with my reading from 1990. I had older notebooks going back to 1980, but they got lost. I've moved around too much. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Zurich, Live, 1970. Incomparable. Throwing some music in there. Nice. Oh man. So we're all starting. Are we all starting the challenge on the same time, November 6th?
Yep.
Are you guys still buying up until until that date, or have you kind of put the brakes on?
I have not put the brakes on. There is an event that MJ pointed out to me in Richmond that I may still go to. They have like a after Halloween horror book.
Well, yeah.
I go down to that and buy a lot of books. And my only thing is that I don't buy a lot of new fiction. I almost always buy new books on ebook or Kindle.
Mhm.
No. But I still may go down just to get some books signed and say, oh, I got a couple signed books.
Yeah, if that is that a Barnes and Noble event? I don't remember.
I think it's a Barnes and Noble event. Yeah.
Let me tell you, I had a good time at the one near me last week. Yeah, highly recommend it for sure.
Yeah, and as I said, I've got 3 more Kindle Unlimiteds that I can pick out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this deal where if I spend $25 on buying Kindle books, they give me like credit for buying more.
Yeah.
So
you can
I'm
pick
gonna
up the
go-
Karamazov and there you go. You got your 400 points.
I'm real close to earning $3, and it give me $6, and it's like an emergency fund for a really good book. But
Yeah, definitely. How
so
about
I'm
you, Chris?
definitely going to spend much money. So
Are you still buying up?
I picked up a couple Kindle things, but I hadn't really bought anything.
Yeah.
I haven't bought a whole
I
lot.
think-
So
I think next week when it really hits, that's when I'm going to be tested. I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to be in like fight or flight mode. And Ollie, you bought 3 today, right?
Yeah, so I bought 3. So I thought I'd stopped, but I bought 3 today for the Cryptid Readathon. I did buy a couple of physical books from Amazon day before yesterday, which arrived yesterday. I'm planning to film what I intend to be my final physical book haul video this afternoon. So I'm hoping to not buy any more physical books after that, but the video is not going to go up until like 3rd of November or something like that. So I might end up having to film an extra bit for the end if I buy.
Wait, there's one more. Wait, there's 2 more.
I have a pile of physical books. Like I went into a little free library last night, and someone was stacking it with vintage science fiction paperbacks.
Ooh.
Like Michael K. Vaughan. I don't know if he's still here. They had Wagner's Kane book of short stories in like a 70s edition, unread.
Wow.
I think I got to go to this little free library some more.
Yeah, I would. For sure. Let's see.
And one thing for me is I did not I'm still gonna get like my nightworms. Are you keeping your nightworm? Yeah. So that for me is kind of like, that'll kind of fulfill my, new book to give me a little something every month. Like, oh, here's a new book. So,
for sure. If I was excited in my previous Nightworms video, I'm gonna be over the top for this one. Like it's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
But reading those books won't count for the 100.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to unsubscribe because sometimes they have limited space, so I didn't want to lose my spot. Because I've been getting Nightworms for years. So
it's so good. It's so curated. Highly recommended. Let's see. Lewis says it's a contrast between Sean Hudson and Richard Lehman to read and collect in my collection. It's crazy. Alan says, Greg, put the brakes on. Let's see. Read by Fred. It's funny, when I decided I was going to do the challenge, I went on a bit of book buying spree. I wanted to make sure I had what I wanted to read prior to the challenge. Yeah, it's kind of like a safety net for me. Like I want to feel safe in the challenge. So I want to like surround myself and cover myself with all the books that I want. It's kind of like I don't know, like a safety thing.
I'm such a liar because I totally went into Barnes and Noble the other day and bought 2 books. I totally forgot. I just remember.
Did you pick up anything good?
I went in for something else and came over. I got the Nestlings.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And then this it was a Japanese book, like a new translation of this Japanese book. What was it called? I forgot. Eyes and Nails or something like that.
Oh, cool.
That sounded really cool. So
nice.
Just random.
Okay. All right. Inanimate Carbon God. I'm trying not to add any books to my collection without reading at least one first. I'm not succeeding at this. Well, every day is a new day. That's what I say. Yeah. Every day is a new day. But it really is gonna be an awesome experience. I'm kind of really looking forward to getting started, but then I'm like, no, don't get started yet because you could still see if there's any books out there waiting for you. Let's see. There's more comments. Buy books fortnightly. Reading Mr. Magic. Oh, that one's on my list. That sounds really good. MJ, in the last few weeks, you have bought as many books as you would have normally bought in the next 3 months. I bought way more than I would have probably bought in the last 6 months. Yeah, it's been, and you guys haven't seen like what I bought on my Kindle.
Well,
Like,
that's for next year's. Like, don't pre-buy for the challenge.
oh God,
see if you can just stick to your guns and only get what you really want, and not just be sirened into the Kindle.
yeah. We should have like a surprise start date. Like nobody knows when it's going to start until 1 day before. That's it. Challenge starts this date, and boom. So you can't pre-buy. You really have to get stuck with what's on your shelves. All right. So what else? We've been talking for an hour. We have so many people in the comments. It's awesome seeing everyone here. And if you're watching on the replay, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Okay, Jennifer B says, I have a dilemma. I want to do the challenge with everyone, but I'm going on a vacation to a city with my ultimate favorite used bookstore. Advice, please. Give yourself an out. Give yourself that. Exception.
Yeah. When I had the 500 challenge, I called them, they were going to be festival nights.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
That if you're going on a trip, whatever happens on that trip does not count.
It stays on that trip.
It does. Because really, I was going to New York City, and you can't go to the Strand and not come out with a huge bag of books.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you got to be kind with yourself with the rules, for definitely. Yeah, don't be so strict that you're going to be miserable.
Yeah, it's not about punishing yourself. It's about seeing what you can do with the books that you own, getting through them.
Right. Okay. I'm feeling enabled to go out and splurge on books now. Haha. Yes. Well, yes. That's the idea. And support indie authors. Buy indie books too. Oh, let's see. Got loads on TBR. Yeah, for sure.
You know, there's a universal
back in November. Yep.
Exception is that you can buy BookTuber books.
Is that your exception?
Well, that's an exception that I think most people, a lot of people, it's like if a BookTuber comes out with a book,
yeah,
you're allowed to buy from your friends because you're supporting them, and it's not.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. Definitely a good one to incorporate. Let's see. What will you do when you look at your shelves and nothing is speaking to you? I need help with that. I've only just started watching if you've already covered this. I would suggest just going in and not looking at the cover or the title, but going in and do like a taste test. Read like 5 pages. See if it grabs your attention. Like the try a chapter thing, like Crystal mentioned earlier. Do a try a chapter and see if anything calls to you. That's my advice. What's your advice, everyone else?
I would say you could try a random book. You can, like if I were to do it, I would count how many bookshelves I have and then ask my, personal assistant, give me a random number between that number. And then how many shelves and and just that way you're going to get a book that's completely random. And then read that book.
Yeah.
It could be a reread or it could be a fresh read and see what comes of it. And instead of trying to find a book that's speaking to you, just random.
Yeah. Ollie, what's your advice?
Yeah, I think both of those are really good suggestions. I guess I'm blessed in that I've got so many unread books that for me personally, I don't think it will be a problem. So I haven't really thought about that eventuality because I've got I think 1,500 unread books on my Kindle and hundreds of unread paper books.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think either something completely random or getting someone to, someone who knows your taste to look through your books and suggest one might be another option.
Definitely. Crystal, any advice?
Yeah, I was going to kind of say to try a chapter, maybe pull a few out and start them all and see if anyone, if one pulls you in, because I imagine one would grab you in the first couple of chapters,
Yeah. My problem
Right,
with
and
that,
try different genres. You could try, here's a science fiction. I'll try this horror book. I'll try this whatever.
yeah,
Maybe it's just that you're not quite sure what you're in the mood for. So
that's
if you
that's
try
the
if
thing.
you try one of like a couple books of from different genres, you might one of them might
Being a
grab you.
mood reader, being a mood reader could derail me with that. So I think I have to have that list of like, if you feel it, if you're feeling like this, pull one of these. Like, just set myself up with a safety net, because that option of not having a TBR and being like, what am I going to read next, could feel overwhelming for sure. Let's see. Okay, so we did that. Good advice. Thank you. You're welcome. I literally have thousands of unread books, some of which I've even wait, what? I can't read it. Some of which I've even paid for. Yeah, well, we've all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that one.
Yeah. And none of them is really demanding to be read right now. So I understand the question. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Dave and Olive's here. Hi, Dave and Olive. He says, good morning, beautiful people. Afternoon, Ollie. You can always read the stars. Yes, you can. Greg, where's my friend Teddy?
You missed him. He came on. He made a brief appearance.
Oh, Coda says, booped the like on both channels. Yeah, give us a like. I mean, Ollie's got likes out the wazoo, but I can use some extra likes. Thanks for this. You're welcome. And I'm a mood reader too, so just randomly picking something can ruin it for me if I'm not in the mood. Yes. So I'd suggest doing a list of, if you're feeling like this, pull one of these. Like, do a little advanced preparation before you get in on the challenge. Setting yourself up for success is better than, not.
Maybe make yourself a little mood jar where you put little prompts into it, like you pull a prompt, like read a book with, I don't know, silly things like animal on the cover or something. I don't know. So you're kind of hunting through your shelves, and I think you can make it like a little game, and that could,
I may do something like
spark
that.
some little fun,
Yeah. Because the worst thing I want to have happen is just be stuck and not get pulled by anything. I would rather have like a prompt or a game or something like that to keep the challenge moving along, for sure.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that's important is don't beat yourself up if you're not enjoying a book. If you're not enjoying a book, put it aside and pick something else, because reading, trying to slog through something you're not enjoing will definitely slow you down and take the fun out.
And I do count DNFs on my
I was just going to say, last year, a lot of us did count a DNF if you put through a valid effort.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you consider a valid effort?
I mean, 20 to 25% is a definite.
I'll say quarter way through or so.
Yeah.
I made one 50%, and I just you read 5 pages, like I don't remember what I read, and it's like I don't like it. Just no. And I only had 1 or 2, so it's not too bad. Usually have a lot higher level of DNFs than that.
Right. Now, are you guys going to be also culling and removing books from your shelves if you're reading something and it doesn't pull you or it doesn't grip you? Are you going to be getting some books for the charity shop, for the donation bin, anything like that?
For me, I'm definitely going to be working through the shelves and get rid of stuff too.
I don't trust DNFing anymore. I think I've told this story before. It's like when my wife once had an idea of downsizing our home. And, my book collection was going to get a lot smaller. And so I looked at some like old horror paperbacks. They said, oh, this book is only $1. I'll just rebuy it if I want it. So I unhauled them. And now that book is $50.
Yeah.
So even though I'm not liking it, I'm saying, no, I don't want to do it. No, the thing is, I have space for it. So that's a different, some people are out of bookshelf space and need to make room. But for me, it's like, at this point, I don't care if it's a book I never read. I have space for it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm out of shelf room, so I've got stuff double and triple stacked. Like I gotta make some sense of this stuff. Like I can't find anything. I don't know where stuff is anymore. It's out of control. I got piles on the floor. It's out of hand. So I'm definitely gonna look away. So for me, I'm definitely using the opportunity to also just organize my life. Get my
for
life
sure.
and get rid of some books like this I'm not gonna read anymore. Yeah.
Is there one thing that you guys want to experiment with during the challenge? For me, I'm going to be making like a little bit of an effort to read some classics, like shorter classics. So that's like my read what you own challenge to-do list. Do you guys have any plans like that for yourselves of reading a different genre or anything like that?
Nope.
No.
No, I hadn't even thought about that. So yeah, nothing like that for me.
Now here's a question for everyone: is like, how are we going to log what we've read? Last year, I tried to do a short for each book, and I noticed that the watch count for each short got less and less and less as I progressed with the books. It's like, and I don't know if I want to do a short for each book. I kind of do because it makes a good record, but is it worth it? Or like a weekly recap of what you've read, or a monthly recap? I'm not sure how. I'm still not decided how I'm going to do it yet.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do a short, but I'm also going to include it in like a weekly wrap up.
Yeah, I was planning the same. So I was planning on doing a short every time I finish a book, and then also doing like a running count in my weekly wrap ups.
I think short could be fun, and it may help other people too.
Yeah, because
So
people
when you see other people like make you progress, it's kind of like, okay, gives you a little.
Yeah, and the shorts
So, yeah,
I'm
maybe I'll
doing,
do that.
the shorts I'm doing leading up to the challenge have gotten a decent response. You know, just letting people know like what I'm going to be reading. So I don't see why I can't incorporate what I've read, because maybe that'll inspire somebody else to read it. You know.
Yeah, maybe I should be less watchful of how many people are actually looking at the short. Like,
yeah. Let's see. All right, let's catch up with some comments. Mystery Mayhem, remember December should fit right in with the Read What You Own challenge for me. Yeah, for sure. Paul Flint, I rarely DNF as it bothers me. It has to be past 50%. Yeah, to each their own. I think it's a good effort. A good effort is about a quarter to a third of the book. That's usually enough. I agree. I also have piles on the floor. Yeah, you got a lot of books, Coda. Jim's books, reading and stuff. Holiday buys don't count. They can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I think I would go a little overboard. You know, good or Black Friday here in the States. There's going to be a lot of deals. There's going to be book deals. I just have to I have to put the blinders on.
see, that's one thing I noticed is that I have not noticed on Black Friday book deals coming through, at least on my watch list for Kindle. I just don't see them.
Physical books, Barnes and Noble always has a decent sale. It usually starts on Thanksgiving. Library of America usually has a decent sale. So they're out there. You just have to scoop them up.
See, that could hurt if Library of America has a 40% off sale. I'm going,
yeah. And it probably will happen. It's a good thing everything I buy is in ebook form. My shelf space is kind of non-existent. Yeah, for sure. Out of bookshelf space, time to learn to sleep with books. Yeah. Alan says, I need to organize my shelf. Greg is so effing organized. MJ too. It's organized chaos. That's all I can say. Paul Flint, Carbon God depends that slower paced books need more work. So at least 50% into this book I'm reading is getting better at 45%. I like it when you're reading a book, you think you're going to DNF it, and then all of a sudden it starts turning for the better.
Yeah.
That's the best. Totally Book says, I need bookshelves. I have 15 boxes of books sitting in the corner of my bedroom. Yeah, you need bookshelves. Big hard books and classics. I have 6 bookshelves. Agreed. Some books need more time to fully reveal themselves. I'm going to have to buy more bookcases. I personally like to watch weekly and monthly wrap-ups. Steve Fuller, my exceptions are going to be Christmas, Indie Bookstore Day, and my birthday. Those are good exceptions. I don't even have room for bookshelves, never mind books. I hear you. And then impulses go on a list or are saved as photo. Photo on your phone, yeah. Wonderful. Cat's cradle, no cat, no cradle. Oh, there's a kitty. I like it when the kitties make an appearance. All right, so we are at an hour and 15 minutes. I think, did we cover everything that we wanted to talk about?
I think so.
I think we're good, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so we are going into this challenge with full throttle. I'm sure we're going to be posting any new acquisitions. Final book hauls. Is everybody going to do a final book haul video?
I have I said a stack of physical books. I've done a couple more Kindles, which I have not done my Kindle Unlimited list yet. Maybe I should do one of my Kindle Unlimited lists
There you go.
of
Yeah.
what could be on there.
Yeah. What's lurking on my Kindle for the challenge? That's what I'm going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be too long. I have you know.
All right, let's just wrap it up with some final comments. Oh, Erie says, before you leave, click the like button. Thank you. Dave and Olive says, I have so many bags and boxes of books at this point. It's a real challenge to find things sometimes. Dave and Olive, are you doing the challenge? I don't remember if they are or not. Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Yes.
My fellow creators and booktuber friends, thanks so much for coming on the live. I think, Ollie, this is a crazy idea that just keeps getting bigger and stronger every year.
I think it'll be even bigger next year.
Yeah, bigger and better. Everybody is saying hi to Teddy. All right. Wonderful. All right, everyone. So we will see you in our next videos. Make sure that you like and subscribe to everyone's channel, and onward with the challenge.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck.
Right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.